What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Ernest Scared Stupid. So we're back at it with another Ernest review. I've been reviewing a couple of these movies, and I believe I said this in another review, but I said once October rolls in, I gotta check out Ernest Scared Stupid because I got this little triple pack. I got it at the library for $1, quite the steal. I was ecstatic when I found it. You got Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Scared Stupid, and Ernest Goes to Jail. And I mean, look at that cover. Would you just look at it? Shouts out Ed Bassmaster. Would you just look at it? That's a beautiful cover. There's the back. Boom. But yeah, like I said, I've reviewed a couple Ernest movies. I'm a fan of them. And I wanted to wait till October to do Ernest Scared Stupid because it does take place, on Halloween. So, yeah, had to check it out. And basically just, it's October 1st when I'm recording this video. And I'm ecstatic. I love October. People who follow the channel, they already know I'm obsessed with horror movies. I love all that spooky, scary stuff. So, I'm ecstatic that October has rolled around once again. So, I hope everyone has a fun October and does some Halloween-esque activities. Maybe hit the apple orchard, hit the pumpkin patch, hit the haunted house, all that. But yeah, the game plan for this month is much like last year. I'm going to be doing all horror all month, and I'm generally going to be doing stuff that actually centers around Halloween. So that's the game plan. But anyways, we're talking about Ernest Scared Stupid today, and my overall opinion of this one, this is going to sound controversial because from what I've heard, Ernest Scared Stupid is a lot of people's favorite Ernest movie, and I feel like it's a very very well-liked movie in the franchise. But here's the thing, I like to be honest on here. This is just my opinion. So if you love a movie and I say I don't like it, don't worry about it. I'm just coming on here talking about my opinion. If people have different opinions, go ahead and tell me, why you like it, what you like about it in the comments. Like, that's what's fun about this. It's just having a discussion. It's just my thoughts. So even though this one is super well regarded, I did not have as good a time with this one as I did with the other Ernest movies that I watched. So the only other ones that I've watched to date are Ernest Goes to Camp and Ernest Goes to School. And Ernest Goes to School, I don't know if people like that one as much. That one came out a couple years after, and I don't know if it's one of the most popular ones of the franchise, but Ernest Goes to School and Ernest Goes to Camp, I did enjoy more than Ernest Scared Stupid, unfortunately. And, I was really looking forward to this. I'm a big horror fan and I like these Ernest movies, but yeah, something about it, it just didn't do it for me. I didn't dislike it. I thought it was okay. It was just okay, but it wasn't as good as the other Ernest movies that I've watched previously. So that's my overall opinion. I hope I didn't disappoint anyone by not loving this as much as I liked the other ones. But I want to be honest on here. I want to be transparent. So there you go. That's my my 2 cents, my honest opinion. So jumping into a plot summary. The movie focused on Ernest once again, and he's a sanitation worker. He is hanging out with a couple of his friends. They're these younger kids, and basically these bullies tear down the kids' little makeshift haunted house. So the kids and Ernest construct this tree house, and they construct it on this tree that's housing this troll called Trantor. And basically one of Ernest's, like Ernest, his bloodline has been cursed by Trantor. One of Ernest's relatives 100 years ago was cursed by Trantor, and while Ernest is in the treehouse with the kids, he, you know, is just joking, and he thinks the whole myth of Trantor and his bloodline being cursed, he thinks it's a bunch of baloney. So he does all the necessary steps to, you know, summon Trantor, and Trantor the troll is summoned and is, you know, pursuing Ernest and the kids throughout the rest of the movie, and turning them into these like little wood figurines, so he can basically like feast on their essence, like feast on their energy and become more powerful. So and then all while this is happening, you know, it's kind of like a Boy Who Cried Wolf situation, where, you know, people just, they already think, you know, Ernest isn't the sharpest individual, so, you know, he's trying to warn everyone and fight off this troll, but no one believes him, no one believes the kids. So basically, you know, Ernest and these kids, they're like the only ones who actually know that there's a troll on the loose, and they're trying to, you know, fight the troll, defeat him, and get everyone else on board, you know, so they can collectively come together and defeat this evil troll. So that is the basic plot summary. I'm going to do this video like I've done a couple of videos recently. I'm going to get into likes and dislikes. I'm going to do likes first. So I thought the comedy was great in this once again. I love the Ernest character. He's, you know, in all these movies he has different jokes, of course, and there's like different like gags and different scenarios that he's put into, but like he's always Ernest, you know, he's always the same character. And, you know, I feel like, you know, Jim Varney did a great job once again. The character was the character of Ernest was portrayed like the same as I've seen him in these other movies. So yeah, the comedy surrounding Ernest and, you know, Jim Varney's performance was fantastic. Another positive, I thought the Halloween atmosphere in this was great. You had like all the, you know, everywhere they went, like they would go walk around town, they would go to the grocery store, they would go to the little school Halloween party. Like there were so many instances where there were so many like Halloween decorations and Halloween centric set dressings, and it was like all like 90s decorations. All the decorations looked really cool, but this movie really did have that Halloween atmosphere, and it's a great looking movie to watch in October. Also, I thought some of the locations were awesome. I really liked Old Lady Hackmore's house. She has all these like almost like sculptures made out of like old metal and trash. Her house was awesome, and the forest where they have their treehouse is absolutely beautiful. It's like this like extremely creepy, foggy forest with these trees with like pretty much like no leaves. It looks like something like from like Harry Potter. Like it's just like a great creepy, spooky forest, and it's great for like a kind of a scarier movie set on Halloween. So yeah, I like that location as well, and I really like the makeup and the practical effects on Trantor and the other trolls. The makeup in this was top notch. Like Trantor looked fantastic. I mean, he looked gross, but he looked awesome. So yeah, the makeup in this, fantastic. Alright, so that's all I had for my likes. Now I'm going to jump into dislikes. So, you know, in all these Ernest movies, it's a lot of the story is usually about like Ernest's personal development. You know, like in Ernest Goes to Camp, he's like trying to like prove himself as a counselor. And you know, in Ernest Goes to School, he's trying to like succeed without the help of, you know, the scientists. He's trying to like succeed on his own and, you know, pass his classes, get his diploma. In this, there was like some of the story did center around Ernest's development because, you know, no one believes him and he loses his job and he does go through some trials and tribulations and he has to prove himself as like the hero and he has to prove that he's competent and that he's not just, you know, making this up, that he's actually, you know, he's actually like telling the truth. So he does have to prove himself a little bit, but I feel like the story was focused more on them just like defeating the troll. Even though it did center around like Ernest's personal development, you know, a little bit, I feel like it did not as much as it did in the other Ernest movies that I've seen. Also, you know, this movie, even the title is different. Usually the title is Ernest Goes to Blank, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to School. This one was Ernest Scared Stupid. So, you know, the other movies, it's like they generally take place at like one location and it's kind of like a fish out of water situation. This movie did not really have that one location element, and it didn't really have that fish out of water element as much as well. And I kind of liked that, and I grew to like that from the other ones that I saw. So this was like lacking in that a little bit. So it had like a slightly different tone than the other ones, just like in that regard. Also, you know, in all these movies, like, you know, Ernest is front and center stage, and the other main characters, like the younger kids, are kind of, even though they are main characters, it feels like they're kind of put on the back burner and more of the focus is on Ernest, which I like because he's the star of the show. But you know, in this like and in the other Ernest movies that I've seen, I don't like the kids aren't as memorable. Like I don't really remember their names, but in this one, I feel like the kids were like really not memorable. Like I feel like I never really got the chance to know them, and so like I didn't care as much about their characters because I didn't really like get the chance to, you know. So even though like the movie is more about Ernest, I would have liked like a little bit if they like built up the other main characters a little bit more. And then this might be kind of like a really personal thing, but you know, I didn't really know anything about this movie going in, and you know, I see the cover and it's like, you know, it's very, very Halloween-esque. You got Ernest and the pumpkin, and even though there was a lot of great Halloween atmosphere, I don't know, like even though the villain looked great, like the practical effects and the makeup on the villain, I don't know, it's something like there's just, in my opinion, like there's so many different monsters that you could choose for a movie set on Halloween, and I don't know why they picked a troll. Like it worked well for the story, but I don't know, like maybe he's cursed by some you know, like pumpkin monster or something, like some vampire, I don't know, like I just feel like when I think of like a monster that's related to Halloween, I wouldn't really think of a troll. You know, like a troll could be in any movie. Like if your movie's set on Halloween, maybe he's cursed by like a mummy or something. I don't know, like that's just not really like a traditional Halloween monster, if that makes any sense. So I didn't, even though I did like the antagonist, like the, you know, like I said, the makeup was good, and you know, he was like a, you know, he was a like a threat, you know, to Ernest and everyone else. Like I don't know, I just thought, like going in, I didn't really know what the monster was gonna be, and I just, I feel like a troll wasn't the best fit for like a Halloween centric monster. So, but that might be really personal. And then the last point that I have is not a like or dislike. It's just a random point. But this is okay. So this is getting into a spoiler. So just a disclaimer: if you have not seen this movie and you don't want it to be spoiled for you, tune out at this point. Turn off the video at this point and come back. But yeah, anyways, I got the disclaimer out of the way. Jumping into a spoiler. So basically, at the end of the movie, the troll is killed, or not killed. He's defeated by, you know, like by unconditional love, and I thought that was like, that made me think of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, where, you know, Freddy is basically, he's basically defeated by Lisa and Jesse's love. And I was just thinking, I just thought that was so fun, like, because this is a PG movie and it totally works. Like, you know, the Ernest movies, they're PG, they're meant for kids. You know, it makes sense that, oh, he's defeated by love. Like, they can't just be like, yeah, we stabbed him in the face. Like, that wouldn't really fly with kids. But I just think it's funny how like a R-rated slasher movie, it like has kind of like the killer is defeated in a very similar way. Like, honestly though, a lot of the ways that Freddy is resurrected and defeated are kind of comical, but like that doesn't like detract from the experience. Like, that kind of makes the movies like a little bit campy and kind of adds to the fun. But I'm not hating on a Nightmare on Elm Street. I got the Nightmare on Elm Street shirt going on right now. I mean, I'm not hating on Nightmare on Elm Street 2, but I mean, I'm not hating on you know, like the Nightmare franchise overall. I love quite a few of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I'm a big fan, but I just thought that was like funny, and I thought I would point that out. But anyways, that was my last point, and now I'm gonna get into my recommendation. So even though I just thought Ernest Scared Stupid was okay compared to the other ones that I've seen, I would recommend it because I think the Halloween atmosphere in this was fantastic, and I think, you know, even though I didn't have the best time with it, I could see why this is one of people's favorite Ernest movies. So I would recommend it. I think it could be a very enjoyable watch during October. So yeah, I would recommend it. But anyways, that has been my recommendation, and that has been my review of Ernest Scared Stupid. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.